Everybody, and welcome back. Last episode, we vastly improved our program here. Before, if you remember, we were running all of these different functions as separate programs, but now it is all condensed into one functional program with lots of different things going on here. Today, we are going to improve it a bit more by adding some post-login actions that we can do. We're going to create an admin account, and we're going to create some sort of dashboard for that admin account to modify, delete users, and create more admins. So let's jump right into it. There's going to be some new concepts coming, and I'd say at this point, we're definitely reaching more into intermediate territory. Just a heads up, we're going to see a little bit more complicated things, but I'm going to do my best to break it down as simple as I can. So, if we're going to create an admin account, I'm kind of thinking it would make the most sense to have the first account created become the admin. And so we're going to need to do stuff with this register here. The first thing I'm going to introduce, though, before we dive in, is the concept of local and global variables. What do these mean? Basically, this right here, user equals read, pass equals read, these are basically global variables that we're calling. They're variables that can be used in any of these functions. Like in menu, I can print user, assuming this function has ran, and it will return what was stored in the variable user. Whereas if I make this a local variable, user is now, or at least this instance of user, is now unique to this function. It does not leave this function. It basically stops existing once that function is over. It's good practice because it helps by not accidentally overwriting data that you may have already set. Because in our program here, we do have multiple instances of user and pass being called that are like in the register and in the login. So it would be good practice to separate these. So I'm going to go through and change these variables that are only needed for that function to work into local variables. So let's see. Like choice. This can be local because this choice doesn't matter anywhere else. I am minimizing these functions, by the way. It's a thing you can do in Visual Studio Code. I'm just doing it to make it a bit easier to read. All right. This can also be a local variable. There we go. Just going to go through and update all of these. We can make that a local variable. We can make this a local variable. And there's nothing. Well, we can make this local too. There we go. We cleaned that up a little bit. We got some local variables. So for now on, I'm going to be using local variables when it's necessary, when it makes sense. So first thing we need to do is we're absolutely going to modify our register, but we need some sort of function to tell if the first account is being created right now or not. So let's put that right here. Function, let's just call it is first account. Okay, so we're going to do local files equals fs.list. What this is we are listing every file in the root directory, aka this slash. On the terminal here, I've already done an ls, and this right here is everything that exists in the root directory. Right now, it's just menu.lua. It's going to store it in this variable files. It's actually going to be a table. The fs.list returns a table where it's kind of like you got key value pairs, like number 1 equals menu.lua. Number 2 would equal some other file if I created another file, and so on and so forth. It's going to list directories as well. However, we are going to get to that. I'm going to create local count. This is just going to count all of the files that we find. And I am not doing anything with it just yet. I'm basically just declaring, hey, I exist and I'm ready to do stuff. We're going to do a for loop here. And I'm just going to type it out and explain right after what this means, because it does look like some confusing gibberish. So remember the key value pairs. 1 equals value 1. 2 equals value 2. That is basically what a table or an array looks like in Lua. So we have the key value pairs. This is the key. This is the value. You can also call this index, but this underscore is just a standard Lua convention that simply means we're going to ignore the first value. So we are dropping this 1 and this 2, and we are only after these values, value 1 and value 2. So in this context with fs.list, it is only going to return menu.lua and tomato instead of 1 tomato, 2 menu.lua, that kind of thing. Because we do not care about the index, we just care about the file name. Ipairs simply, it takes those key value pairs and makes sure that they are in order. There's an older way that's just pairs, but that's pretty much deprecated. No one uses that. Ipairs is just better. And we are doing it with the table we created with fs.list. All right, so we're going to do an if-then statement because we need to find text files. We're going to make our user accounts into text files. So if file match, and we're going to do a %.text $, and file does not equal admin.text, then, all right, so let's explain this here. File match is its own method. It basically is going to take everything. So make sure you're careful here. We're using two variables that are very similar. We got files and file. File is going to be every iteration of this loop, whereas files is the table that we established in the beginning with the list of files. So for every file that is found in files, we are going to match specifically this string of text, .txt. The % and the $, all they do is signify the beginning and the end. That's all they do. % is the start, $ is the end. Everything in between, we're looking for that exact order of string to text, or string to match. And then simply for the admin accounts, I'm just going to store them in admin.text. So we got to make sure we don't accidentally show this because it is not a user. This is more like a collection. So all we need to happen for every file that has a .txt in it, we are going to increase our count by 1. And that's it. Going to do return count equals 0. So this function here is going to list all the files, count them, well, count all of the ones that have .txt in it. Hey there, this is Alex from the future. I just wanted to jump in and explain quickly what this line does here, return count equals 0. Simply what this does is this is a conditional statement. It is comparing count with 0, and it will return either true or false. So if count is 0, then this will return true, aka this is the first account because nothing else exists. Otherwise, if it is higher than 0 because it went through this loop and count added 1 each time, then this would return false because count does not, in fact, equal 0. I forgot to explain it, wanted to quickly jump in, and that is it. Back to your regular scheduled programming. That is how we will know if any accounts already exist. So inside of the register function, when we create our account, first thing we need to do is, let's see, we need to get a variable or declare a variable that checks whether it's true or false that a file already exists. I'm just going to call it local first equals is first account. If it is the first account, this is going to return true. So local first will mean true in that case. I'm just doing it so that we declare it right away before once we create this account, like with the save account feature, an account will exist by that point. So once the account is created, we need to also make that first account an admin account. So if first, then we're gonna open a file or create it if it doesn't exist. Open it in write mode. File.writeLine user file.close. And then I'm gonna let them know that the user concatenated has been set as admin. Okay, so let's give this a try. Theoretically, the first account that is created will be set as an admin account and will be inside admin.txt. Any future account that's created, this will not be ran. So let's test it. Menu, register, let's do Alex, password tomato. Alex has been set as admin. All right, so let's do a register again. We're gonna do Bob. Password will also be tomato, and account created successfully. It did not register it as an admin account. So let's quit, ls. So we have 3 new files, alex.txt, bob.txt, admin.txt. Let's see what's inside admin. It's just Alex. So at this point, Alex is the admin account. Bob is just a regular user account. So now that we got that created, we can work on our dashboard here. So function or registered is done. We're going to go ahead and do our login account here. And for this, we should make another separate function as well. I'm going to do function is admin user. All right. So we need to kind of do a similar thing. If not fs exists admin.txt, then clearly we have no admin accounts at all. So we're just gonna return false and end right here. We got a single line if then statement because it's so short. Otherwise, we're gonna run through the rest of this program. Local file equals fs.open admin.txt in read mode. And we're going to call it admin user equals file.readLine file.close. So in this iteration, we are assuming there's only one admin account because it's just reading one line. We will make this more advanced later when we go to add more admin accounts. We're basically going to have to do what we did with is first account with this kind of thing where we need to get all of them in the file. For now, we're going to assume Alex is the only admin. We will return user equals admin user. Okay, so our function is admin is done. We're going to call it in our login function here. Let's say right inside here, we're going to make another if then statement. So if is admin user, then we're going to just do admin dashboard, else we will do all of this. All right, that should be good. We need to, of course, create our admin dashboard. Let's do that right up here. Function admin dashboard. Let's just put that here just to make sure everything works and test this out. So menu, we're going to log in as Alex Tomato. Hi, I am admin. Okay, let's log in as Bob. Okay, so those are very different. Cool. So we have ourselves 2 dashboards we are going to use. It's going to look very much like menu. I think I'm just going to literally copy and paste this whole thing. All right. Minimize this. Go in here. Paste. Okay. Admin dashboard. Very nice, very nice. So what do we want the admin to do? let's have them view all users. That will be nifty. Let's have them change user password. Let's have them delete user account. Let's see. Have a fourth option here. Let's just have a logout. We'll have a capability of creating another admin account later. For now, I just want to keep it kind of short. Otherwise, this video is going to be a lot longer. So here we go. We need to add an else if for choice 4, since we have 4 choices here. 4. And this is going to break. This one will not. We're going to need to make functions for all of these. So for choice 1, we are going to do list users. Let's create that function. For choice 2, change user password, delete account. All right, delete account. And break. Great. So that should be good. We got some new functions to create. So function, man, I've got some typos. List users and do change password and delete account. 3 new functions. How exciting. All right, well, let's do the list users first. That one will be pretty straightforward. We're going to do local files equals fs.list. It's going to be pretty much the same as what we did in the other function we made. So we're going to go ahead and print registered accounts. And then we're going to run our loop. So for blank file in ipairs files do. And now we need to make sure they have .txt at the end. So if file match, then don't forget % is the start, .txt, and then $. Then let's add some ends. Then we will do print, like a little hyphen, concatenate. Now we need to display the users, not necessarily the files. So I don't want it to list alex.txt and bob.txt. So how do we splice off the .text portion? Well, there's another method called file gsub. What this means is global substitution. We are going to look for a pattern. It has 2 arguments. It's a pattern to look for and what to replace it as. So we're going to do %.text $. It's going to look for the .text pattern. And we're just going to replace it with nothing. I want to just cut it off. That is good. That should list out all of the users. So we'll just do a print. Let's do a line break. Press any key to return. We're going to do ourselves a little pull event here. So os.pull event key. All this does is it's going to wait for the key to be pressed and then carry on. And it will, because that's the end of the function. So it'll do nothing. Change password. Let's do this one. This one be a little bit longer. We'll do a term.clear so we can clear the screen. And for this too. Let's do that. Term.clear. We need to select the user account that we want to actually edit. So enter username to modify. And we're going to do a local user equals read. We need to, of course, make sure the user exists in case the admin has a typo. We don't want the program to break. So if not, fs.exist user and then .text, then we'll let them know user not found. Sleep for a couple of seconds so that they can read it and understand they done fucked up. Otherwise, we will carry on. We'll say write and then new password and we'll do local new pass equals read. And we got to mask it with the stars. And I think we should do a confirm password. Let's put in a little line break so that they're not on the same line. Local new pass confirm equals read. So let's go ahead and make sure that they're the same thing. So if new pass equals new pass confirm, then we will carry on. Local file equals fs.open. We're gonna open that user account in write mode. We're gonna just write over what's already there. We're not gonna append, we're not gonna read. File.write line new pass. And then of course, as we should, close the file. Print password updated. Very nice. Sleep for a couple of seconds. Otherwise, if passwords do not match, and sleep return. So change password. That should, in theory, change the password in the user text file. Just move on to our last function here, delete account. So we're going to clear the screen again. Enter username you wish to delete. Local user equals read. It's kind of a repetitive here, same kind of things we've been doing. So it's kind of why I'm breezing through these a little faster. So if this does not exist, so we got to make sure that there's no typos and we don't break the program, then we will let them know user not found. Sleep for a couple of seconds. Oh, and return. Otherwise, we will proceed with the account deletion. fs.delete user.text. Then we'll let them know account deleted. Sleep for 2 seconds. And that's it. We got a dashboard. We got delete account function, change password function, list users function. Let's test all of these out. Hopefully it all works. That'd be nice, huh? So we're gonna log in as our admin. Admin dashboard. Here we go. So let's view our accounts. We got Alex, Bob, admin. Forgot we need to filter out admin. So let's do that real quick. So, and there we go. Okay, let's run menu one more time. So log in, Alex, tomato, view accounts. Cool. Alex and Bob. Return, change password. Enter username to modify. Let's enter one that does not exist. User not found. Okay, that's good. Let's try it again. Let's change Bob's password. A 3-letter yes. And let's get it wrong. They do not match. Okay. Bob. Let's make it match. I don't like that line break. So I'm just going to get rid of the /n. All right. So Bob should have a different password. Let's log out and log in as Bob. Bob, if I do tomato this time, now it's not the right password. Bob, yes. Uh-oh. Did I fuck it up? No, that is right. What in the world? Let's try it again. Maybe I typoed. Yes. Huh. Incorrect password. That is very odd. I'm going to have to look into that. Anyway, let's delete the account. Bob. Account delete. Okay, let's fix the grammar on that. Account deleted. Okay, so all of these things appear to be functional. It did change the password. For some reason, the login didn't quite work. But Bob is gone. Register Bob and log in as Bob. Okay, so that worked. With my admin account, let's change the password again. I wonder if something's messing it up here. We'll do potato. All right. Incorrect password. That is very odd. I'm going to have to look into why that's messing it up somehow. We have accomplished the goals for this video. We created an admin dashboard, we created an admin account, and we added some admin functionality here. List users, change passwords, delete accounts. So next video, we're going to improve our menus by making them keyboard based instead of just typing our options. And we'll fix that bug with changing the password, see what's going on. I'm gonna have to look into it, figure it out on my own time, but I will address it next video. But we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.